Welcome back to the Poker Vlog. This is episode number 116, and for this one, we head out to Madrid, Spain for 888 Poker's live event series. We actually play a cash game session in this video, and we get into some fun spots. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, but before we get started, I've got a few announcements to make. Andrew and I are going out to MGM Springfield in Massachusetts, February 18th and 19th. We'll be playing 2-5 both days, starting at 5 p.m. Then we're going to Gardens Casino in Los Angeles, California, March 6th and 7th. And then at the end of March, we'll be doing an event with Chicago Charitable Games, March 28th, March 29th. So more information down below in the description box. Hope to see you guys there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm in Madrid for my first time ever, and I couldn't be happier. There are a million things to see. The architecture is amazing. I'm with my brother Matt, who I invited to come with me so that I could have someone to explore with. Each day we fill our stomachs with delicious food, and each night, well, we fill our stomachs up even more, then wash it down with some vermouths. The city's absolutely awesome. I'm here mostly for 888 Poker's main event, but up to this point, I've never played poker in a language other than English, so it's important for me to get comfortable with the differences before playing in a big tournament. I headed to the Casino Gran Via to jump into a cash game and get some practice. The property's gorgeous, looks like it should be in a James Bond film, maybe even one where the poker scene is realistic. Tons of extra people are here for 888 Poker's live event series. It has stuff going on all week. This is the spot to be in Europe right now. My name gets called for the 2-5 game. I buy in for 1,500 US, which is just under 1,300 euros. I'm hoping that the tiny amount of Spanish that I remember from high school and college will help me get by. I don't think it's going to happen though. I mostly use freetranslations.com. There are a few differences that I noticed right away even before I start playing. The first is that the greens are 50 euro chips here. They're usually $25 chips in the US. That's somewhat minor. The big thing I have to get used to is that in cash games at this location, the action and button rotate counterclockwise. This is a very difficult thing to get adjusted to. After people laugh at me a few times for being confused by that, I pick up ace-jack of spades in middle position. Under the gun +1 limps in, I raise to 20. The button likes that I made it more, but I apparently didn't make it enough. He 3-bets to 60. There's a lot of 3-betting in this part of the world, and it's typically on the smaller side. Under the gun +1 folds. I make the call. We're heads up. The flop comes ace-6-3, all diamonds. We have top pair. I check. The button checks back. He likely doesn't have a high diamond himself. The turn is the 10 of diamonds. I'm not 100% sure what to do in this instance. I feel like I'm probably ahead, but I don't want to have this check through and potentially chop it if another diamond comes on the river. No need to make it too much. I lead for 50. The button doesn't have any interest in the pot. He folds. That's the first hand that we've won in Spain. It's important to win early to try and get into a rhythm and build some confidence. Next we have pocket 10s on the button. Under the gun +2 opens at 15. I call. The flop is ace, king, deuce, rainbow. It's not what I wanted to see. We have third pair. Under the gun +2 checks. I check back. The turn is another ace. It makes it less likely that I'm up against one, so it's not a bad card. The player leads for 15. It's a small bet. I call one time. The river is a 7. We both check. Under the gun +2 turns over king 4 of spades. He wins it with the better 2 pair. It's not a big pot, but I'm including it because it shows the opponent is opening with a very wide range from early position, and that factors into how I played this next one. I've got king queen offsuit in the cutoff. Under the gun +1, who was the person that I played the previous hand with, opens again to 15. The hijack calls. Under normal circumstances, I may just fold this against an early position raise and a call. Knowing the king 4 suited could be in the pre-flop raiser's range, I go a different route and I 3-bet to 65. Wait, never mind. Let's rewind that. I throw out 2 green chips, a blue one, and a red one. Typically that would be 65 in the US, but as I'm writing this, I'm looking it over and realizing I misclicked and I made it 115 because greens are 50s in Spain and I'm still not used to that. That's a huge 3-bet on accident by me. That changed everything about this hand. I'm trying to put on a squeeze play. Usually you have to worry about getting through the first player and the second player will typically fold. Under the gun +1 lets his hand go. The hijack makes the call for 100 more because he thinks he has a hand strong enough to go to battle with. When I thought I made it 65, I mostly put him on a small to medium pocket pair or something like 2 Broadway cards. The flop comes queen jack 10 with 2 spades. It's a pretty good flop. We have top pair with an open-ended straight draw. The hijack checks. I still don't know that I accidentally made it 115, so I check back thinking that I'm probably way ahead and there aren't many bad cards for me on the turn. Maybe I can induce a bluff. The turn is the 3 of spades. The hijack checks again, then looks down at his card to see if he has a spade in his hand. If a player is genuinely checking his cards like this because he forgot what suits they are, it means he doesn't have a set with any of the cards that are on the board that are a spade because he'd already know that if he had pocket 3s, for example, the 3 of spades is accounted for. It also means that he doesn't have 2 spades in his hand for a flush. People almost always know if they're holding suited cards, what suit they have. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but usually this tell is pretty reliable. I bet 2 greens, thinking that it's 50, but it's actually 100. Oh god, this is an embarrassing hand. The hijack min check raises to 200. Based on the read that I have, I've ruled out all flushes and nearly every set combination from my opponent's range, so I'm not sure what the guy is check raising me with, except maybe a hand containing the ace of spades. I make the call for what I think is only 50 more. The river is the 5 of clubs. The opponent fires for 280. For the first time this hand, the dealer announces the bet in Spanish and in English, so I know exactly how much it's for.
280.
It's not that large of a bet, but in my mind the pot is a lot smaller, so I believe he's bet 280 into 352, potentially as a bluff. If he has the ace of spades and some other random card that he's betting since he has the blocker to the nuts, then I should have him beat. I call. The opponent does just have the ace of spades. He doesn't even have a pair with it. He has the king of hearts. Oh shoot. Yeah, he flopped a straight. Well, I certainly didn't put that in his range after he flatted the initial pre-flop raise. Let's just forget about that hand. Playing poker in another language with different chip colors and denominations, while the action goes the opposite way you're used to, and trying to film is hard. I count my stack and spend the next hour wondering why I have 150 less than I think I should. I also add on for 1,000 more US dollars before picking up pocket 10s in the cutoff. The hijack opens at 15. I call. The big blind 3-bet jams for 215. The hijack folds. I'm still tilted about the previous hand. A huge part of me wants to call and get the chips back that I just lost. If I call and lose, I'll be very frustrated with myself though, especially if I happen to get it in as an underdog. I only have 15 invested at the moment, and I'm probably flipping at best. I make a disciplined laydown to keep my sanity. Maybe I'll be able to get the big blind down the road. Here I've got pocket 6s on the button. It's a straddle pot. The hijack opens at 30. I call. We're heads up. Flop comes 6-5 deuce, all clubs. We have top set on kind of a weird board. Hijack leads for 40. I can take a higher variance approach and raise. I may have to get it all in with my opponent if he re-raises. Set I flat to keep my opponent's bluffs in, keep the pot more manageable, and mostly for deception. The turn is the 3 of spades. The hijack checks. It's very unlikely he has a 4 for a straight. If I was ahead on the flop, then I should still be ahead. I bet 105, which is the amount that I intended to bet. Something has clicked into my head, so I'm now using the right chips for the right amounts. That's good. The opponent makes the call. I'd love for this board to pair. That's not what happens. The river is the jack of hearts. Not the worst card in the world. The player surprisingly leads for 150. It seems as if this player's naming his price, and this is a blocker bet. I didn't get check raised on the turn, so I'm probably not up against a flush. The only hand that I fear I'm losing to is pocket jacks. There aren't too many combinations of that. I raised to 400, hoping that I might be able to get a crying call out of a hand like aces, kings, or queens. The player goes deep into the tank. He wants to look this American up. Eventually he folds. We win our first big pot of the night. Feels great, baby. Later I pick up pocket 4s in the big blind. It's a straddle pot. Under the gun plus 2 raises to 25. He's the player who 3-bet jammed when I had pocket 10s and folded. I call here. We're heads up. The flop comes jack 10-4 with 2 clubs. We make another set. I check to set the trap. Under the gun plus 2 puts his foot in it and bets 45. He only has 207 total. I jam, setting down an amount that has him covered. He checks his cards and he makes the call quickly. The turn is the 3 of spades. The river is a 6. I turn over a set. It's a winner. The opponent doesn't show and throws his cards into the muck. His stack is given to us. Exercising a little patience and folding the 10s earlier has paid off. We win all the money anyway, and we're almost unstuck. I run cold for a long time before getting dealt pocket kings in the big blind. The button opens at 15. I 3-bet to 60. The button 4-bet shoves for 815. No, just kidding. He folds. Seems that he had nothing. My table breaks. I'm at a new spot now where I've got king queen suited under the gun plus 1. I open to 15. Under the gun plus 2 calls. A middle position player calls. The button calls as well. We go 4 ways to the flop. It's ace jack 9 rainbow. We have a gutter and a backdoor flush draw. Typically, it's not a great idea to semi-bluff with 3 other opponents, but I've noticed 2 of the players call really wide pre-flop and fold to a lot of bets on the flop. This board is great for my range, and there are plenty of cards that can help me out on the turn. For those reasons, I bet 35. Under the gun plus 2 and the middle position player both fold. The button isn't sure what he wants to do. Ultimately, he calls. He's got a short stack. The turn is the deuce of clubs. If it were a spade, I might continue to fire. I'm not sure I can get this opponent to fold an ace if that's what he has. I pump the brakes and check. The button checks back. The river is the 10 of spades. What a dream. We have the nuts. Sometimes when you semi-bluff, you get there. The trick will be trying to figure out how much I can get out of my opponent. I toss out 110. Maybe this will look like a bluff. The player thinks for a bit, then folds. That's the last interesting hand that I play. I ran somewhat cold for about 6 hours, but I'm glad to have this as a trial session before the €888 main event. just wrapped up my first ever session in Spain, my first ever poker session in a different language, so that was something to get used to. I also want to get used to the button rotating around counterclockwise. That's kind of odd for me in the beginning, but I feel pretty well prepared for tomorrow. I got a good feel of how people play out here. It's not too much different from the US. I lost about $455 US tonight over about 6 hours. Wish I had that king-queen offsuit hand back, but yeah, I got a little bit fancy, 3-betting pre-flop and then calling kind of light on the river. But really excited for the rest of this 888 series. I'll probably play a little bit more cash, and then I have the main event tomorrow and then one other smaller tournament. So maybe I can turn things around before the vacation's over. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons because it helps out the channel a ton. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you. If you ever have a chance to go to one of 888 Poker's live event series, definitely do that. They go to a lot of cool spots all over the world. I had a great time. I think that's pretty evident from this video. I saw a ton of cool stuff. And next video is going to be part 2 of this trip. So for that one, I play the 888 euro main event. It's about $1,000 US. And that one's awesome. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Make sure that you check it out as soon as it comes out, probably in the next week or so. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of meetup games coming up. The next one's gonna be at MGM Springfield. Then from there, it'll be Gardens Casino and then Chicago Charitable Games. So hopefully you'll be able to attend one of those, and I'll see you soon. All right, guys, good luck at the tables. I'll see you next time.